This is a demo of a DataTable custom utility activity created for UiPath Studio. So, created a DataTable utility custom activity, and we'll show you how to use that custom activity in our UiPath projects. Start with a UiPath Studio. So, in here, I have a custom activity called DataTable utility, and within that, we have 7 different activities. So you can convert a data table to an HTML table, convert it into a JSON, getting an average of a column in a data table, and there is activity to get column names, getting a max value for a given column, getting a mean value for a column, given column, and renaming a column. So we'll go through each one of these in this demo. So in this project created, uh, first thing first, we create a sample data table. So this is a very simple data table created using data table activity. In here, we got a couple of string columns. There's one double column, there's one int column, and there's one datetime column. So it's a typical data table column. Now we look at first activity. So this activity is to get an average for a given column. So in this one, what we've done is first we invoke the generate data table workflow. So this will give us a data table for use in the next activity, and the next activity is that get average value. In here, we pass in the source data table and the column name you want to get an average for, and output from that activity is an average value for that particular column, and then we just log it on a console. So let's go ahead and run this activity to see how it behaves. Let's look at the file, and you can see that it has given us an output of an average salary. Similarly, there is an activity to get column names. So this is particularly useful when you get a data table and you want to check whether the column name exists in a data table before making any decision. So in this one, similar to the previous one, we generate a data table and we call the get columns method. So this one gives us a list of columns as a string. So in here we get a list of columns. The return type for this one is a list of strings. So we can iterate through each one of those columns and we just output it to a console. So let me run this one. And we can see that it has output all those columns in a data table. This is particularly useful when you get a external data table from when you call a certain process or generate a data table dynamically and you want to check whether the column name exists in a data table or not. Next one is useful where to convert a data table into an HTML table, and this is useful when you have to print a data table out to a web page or to put it in a email. So in this one we generate a data table first and then we call convert to HTML. So we pass in a source data table as an input and the output comes as a string. So that's an HTML string. So let's run this file, and what we get as an output for this particular activity is a HTML representation for that particular data table. And similarly, for a given data table, we can also have a JSON format. So you can pass this particular input data table to an activity and it will return you a JSON object as a string. So this is particularly useful when you have to call some external API, and API requires you to pass in a JSON object. So in this one, we pass in a source data table and it gives us a JSON string. So we can just log that JSON string to the console. We debug this file so you can see how the activity works. So this one will give us a JSON representation of the data in a data table. Similarly, we have 2 more activities to get a max value and a mean value for a given column. So we can call that activity. So we pass in the source data table name and column we want to get a max value for, and the output is max of that particular column. Debug this activity. You can see that it will give us a max value for a salary column. Similarly, we get a mean value for a given column in the data table. So here we get a mean value for a postcode column and I get a mean value for a salary column. We'll run this activity. And we get a mean value for a postcode and a salary. Similarly, there is another activity custom activity that was created to rename a given data table column. So in this one, we pass in the source data table and the existing column name and the new name we want to give it. So in this case, we want to rename a salary column to an employee salary, and the output is another data table. And we just then output the data table to text and just log the text on a console. I'll debug this. And you can see that in this one, the column name got changed from salary to employee salary. And this is particularly useful when you get two different data sets and you want to do a join or find a common column names. This is particularly useful in those scenarios. So this concludes the demo for all the custom activities created for data table utility, and hope you can use these activities in your project and provide your feedback. Thank you.